I will just share with you my journey, how I kind of arrived at this question, and why I put the first thing here, the Vedic vision as a double creation, a double process of evolution. What is this double thing? Some of you may remember from the presentation, or from Sri Aurobindo reading Life Divine, how he explains this double process of evolution. You remember, yes? So we are evolving not only in terms of the being of the embodied self, body, not only body evolves, but also soul. And this is something which Indian tradition didn't have enough. If you look into every possible explanation, even tantric, even the closest to the integral yoga, you will not find the idea of the development of the soul much. It's hidden. It's there. It's always there, like Devayana and Pitriyana. Yes? We spoke about this. So Devayana is the development of the soul by the means of the divine powers. They are supporting, charging, opening, bringing forces to the soul to shine more and more, to come to the front. Whereas Pitriyana is the development of all our instruments, of our mental, vital, and physical nature, and finding more and more means to express the divine. So basically, these two go simultaneously, as Sri Aurobindo describes this in the Life Divine and Indian tradition, in these two yanas. And more interestingly, even in the Agnihotra, they have the left and right hand. The right hand, if you face the east, is to the south, and that is Pitriyana. Pitriyana fire, Dakshina fire is to the south on the altar. So there is the central fire, yes, which is Garhapatya, towards the east. To the south is Dakshina for Pitris, Pitriyana, and to the north, to the left when you face the east, is Deva, Ahavaniya fire, where the oblation is made for the gods. So we have gods, Pitris, so we have soul or spiritual and physical or embodied state, and we have ourselves combining both. We are both. We are together, these two, spiritual development, the soul evolution in us, and the body evolution in us. So I was always wondering where this duality is coming from. And in the texts, I took one of the texts from Taittiriya, So kamayata, he desired, Bahusyam, may I be many, Satapotapyata, and he created or concentrated in his tapasya, satapastaptva, and having flamed in his tapasya, idam sarvam asrijata, he cast out of himself asrijata, all this. What does it mean, cast out of himself? Here starts this duality, which before he was alone, yes, and now he casts out of himself something. And this something is all this. All this is a philosophical term, means manifestation, the universe. So within himself, as Mother says, he created the place where he is not. Can you imagine? In himself, he created this universe, which is not him, as it were, because it is him. Only he doesn't know about that. In him, in the universe. He knows about it outside the universe, but not inside. Inside the universe, he is bewildered, as it were. His power has no full knowledge, full consciousness. Consciousness is withdrawn from his power. Power manifests the universe, and consciousness is withdrawn. So he views it as if it wasn't him. So that's what it means. He cast out of himself all this. Out of himself, out of his self-awareness. He is not aware of it as it is, as he is. Yadidam kimcha, whatever exists in this universe is that which was cast out of him, out of his self-awareness. And that creates the darkness, the inconscient ocean, yes, eternal night, infinite night, that layer, the lowest, the deepest layer of self-denial. Mother speaks about 4 emanations which were withdrawn, which fell into their opposites, as you remember. Yeah? And then, look at this. Tatsrishtva, having cast all this out of himself, tadevanupravishat, he entered it. So he cast it out of himself, he became not himself, and then he entered it. There is no better way to explain this creation, actually. So he entered something which was him, where he was not aware of himself. Now he entered as him who is aware of himself. Yeah? So within this creation there is the soul who is aware that it is the divine, of its divine origin, that mythical structure, or the presence of the divine, origin is there, where it came from, and it entered into the hostile environment where he is not. So it took unto itself all this what was cast as his bodies, his instruments, yeah? As physical, vital, mental bodies here, not himself, he took them onto himself as if wearing this manifestation as the garments. As it is said in the Isha Upanishad, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. All this is to be worn, worn as the garment for the Lord. All this is to be inhabited by the Lord. All this is to be shining with his presence. So he is within his own creation. You know, he entered it. Tad anu pravishya, and having entered that, sat cha tyat cha abhavat, that became this and that. Niruktam cha, expressed and unexpressed. Nilayanam cha, located and unlocated. Vijnanam cha, discerned and undiscerned. Satyam chanritam cha satyam abhavat. This is the profound statement. This truth, satyam, became abhavat, true and untrue. Yadidam kimcha, whatever exists. So the one who was true became true and untrue. Located and unlocated, expressed and unexpressed, discerned and undiscerned. So this duality which was created by him by casting out of himself, or casting, let us say, himself, his own self-awareness, out of himself. I just turned it upside down, yes? Not casting something out of himself, but casting his self-awareness from himself and leaving power of himself act as if it wasn't him. And then entering it is actually the whole key to understand the Veda, the Upanishads, the integral yoga. This is the key. This is the knowledge knowing which everything is known. In one passage. If it is so, then Sri Aurobindo in Life Divine explains that the terrestrial evolutionary working of nature from matter to mind and beyond it has a double process. An outward visible process of physical evolution with birth as its machinery. We have to be born in the physical body. Each evolved form of body housing its own evolved power of consciousness, because it's instrumental to consciousness, is maintained and kept in continuity by heredity. Children have children have children. This is how we pass all our changes within the body. Evolution of what Darwinian evolution, if you will. Yeah? And simultaneously, says Sri Aurobindo, an invisible process of soul evolution with rebirth as its machinery into ascending grades of form and consciousness. So simultaneously two things evolve here and helping each other to evolve. The outer, that what he cast out, yeah, evolves, and that which he pierced, which he entered into, also evolves. Both these evolve together. Yeah, I guess it is quite understood. Yeah, it's quite logical. There is nothing illogical here.
No, it's very clear.
Very nice. So on this ground, everything else comes into picture. If we keep this higher, bigger picture of the creation, how he wanted, and he wanted to be many. Yes, this is the whole thing. How to be many. To be many, you have to forget yourself and start new life as if it is somebody else, as it were. So, and that gap which was created darkness helps him to start a new life, to become many, and to evolve slowly. So I created this scheme which may help us to understand the whole integral yoga and the Veda also. So if you look at this 1, 2, 3, Sat, Chit, Ananda, 1, 2, 3 in numbers, yes? These are original numbers.
You write and hold, then we can go through them.
Yes, we are also recording. You can come to this. Yeah. So if you look at this 1, 2, 3, these are 1 plus 2 equals 3. In mathematic expression, it is perfect because 1 plus 2 is really 3. It's funny because 2 plus 3 is not 5. It is not 4, I mean to say. It's 5. So you see, the only first 3 numbers are actually in perfect relations. The rest you will be always imperfect. You cannot have this 1 plus 2 is 3 anywhere else. In whatever other number, you cannot get it. So only these, because 1 is the most mysterious number. We do not know what 1 is. We spoke about this already before.
Yeah.
I was asking the mathematicians, professor of mathematics, what is 1? He said, you ask the most difficult question. He could tell me every number, but not 1. Because 1 is the only number we choose at will. 2 is already depends on 1. 3 depends on 1. Everyone depends on 1, because once you define that this is 1, then 2 is this. When this is 1, then 2 is this. So it depends what 1 you choose, that 2 will be, and the rest. So, but 1 is undefinable. It's something which we make. So this is an amazing mystery of 1. By the way, Pythagoras' system also speaks about this. 1 is 1. 2 is 3, 3 is 6. This is his treatise on which the whole Kabbalistic approach is built. But there is only one number in the whole roll which is identical to itself. It is one. One is one. This is the biggest mystery. One equals one. Two equals three. Two does not equal two. Why? Because there is already one implied. One was there. So when you have two, you must have three. One is the
How
first
is,
number.
how,
Hmm?
sorry, how is 3
Three is
6?
6 because if you have three, then you have already in one and two and three. You can't have three
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
one and two.
Yes. Got it. Thank you. Then what is 0?
Zero is not a number. By the way, many people tried to criticize Pythagoras for that. He didn't mention zero, and where is zero? Zero is everything. Zero exists as the, how to put it, as the underlining of the oneness of one.
Oh, wow. Underlying oneness of one? Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That is really something to think about. Yes.
Zero is the potential of one to be any number you will.
Yes.
It is that space, that Brahman, or that, Nirguna Brahman, in which all the gunas can manifest of one.
Mm. Beautiful. Mm.
We discussed in our previous sessions
Yes.
about this
Yes.
also,
Yes.
that there are people who believe that at the beginning was one or believe that the beginning was zero.
Mm.
And I was telling that by this distinction, I know how people will behave, especially in the philosophical or psychological terms. Many people believe that the beginning was zero, and the one is the derivation of zero. Others believe no, it can't be true. There's one is there and zero is next, not before one. What do you think? What was at the beginning, one or zero? Your
Zero.
thoughts.
Zero. Zero. I think it was a 0.
Okay.
I'll go with one. I have a question.
Interesting.
What's behind door one? A question comes to my mind is why is three Ananda? Why is Ananda not one? But that's another subject and another topic, I think.
No, we will come to it. Yes, it's important. Sat is first. The being is first. How bliss can be without being? Can you imagine that?
No.
If there is nobody at all, in even that nobody is not there, so how can you have bliss? Yeah, so bliss depends on the self somehow.
There's some, is it vimarsha? Is that the term? Some kind of awareness, some kind of recognition, maybe. But
You see, and before bliss, there is also chitapas, chit, consciousness. How can there be bliss without consciousness and being? So the being who is conscious of it, of himself, itself, the being which is conscious of itself emanates bliss. The more we are conscious of ourselves, the more blissful we become. Bliss is the kind of, in our language, in our mental language, is the product of conscious existence. Or it's the very substance, the very tapestry of conscious existence, if you will.
Beautiful. Tapestry of conscious existence.
Right. And the more conscious we become, the more blissful. The less conscious we become, the less blissful is our life.
Yeah. True.
It's amazing. We don't need to, it's not in the having that the bliss is coming to us. Not in the possessions, not in the dominations. It is in the self-consciousness. Yes. If we are self-masters, if we have self-mastery over our nature, this is the greatest bliss. We know it somehow. when we are very happy for no reason, yes, that is the bliss. When we are happy for some reason, then it is a question. It's a pleasure, rather. So this Sat Chit Sat is first always. The being must be there. Chit, it is awareness of that being, self-awareness. It's like the mirror in which Sat is seeing itself. Yeah? And when it recognizes itself, it generates bliss. Yeah, Sri Aurobindo puts a lot onto it of Satchitananda. It's his major measurement of all things. Yes? And not Chit Ananda Sat, and not Ananda Chit Sat, nor any other combination. There is this order of things. It cannot be consciousness without being. Of what are we conscious of if there is no being? Yeah? What consciousness would be conscious of, and whose it will be if there is no one there? Who is aware, actually, if there is no Sat? So there is more to say about tapas, but I will not go into it. It's quite interesting that it is in the third position, because once awareness of the being is there, that awareness can generate force. Force is a particular focus on one particular element or detail of the being. Once it highlights that, it generates a particular force.
Does consciousness come first? Of course, yes.
Yes.
Then force.
Yes. And this is the Vedic vision, yes? The consciousness has to follow in front of the force, yes? So the cow has to be in front of the horse. The cow represents consciousness, the light of consciousness, the horse, the power. Power follows the knowledge always in the Veda, but not in the Tantra.
Yes, it's the other way around.
So by power you can arrive at knowledge. All right, we can stop here for today. I will kind of highlight these three things later. So the first creation, cast of himself, this is it. Second, from Vijnana, from the supermind, again, another dimension. He penetrated himself by himself. He entered into himself. This is his first death. From here, the evolution starts to take place. This is the evolution. This is evolution red. This is involution blue. He is involved in matter. Then he devolves, as Sri Aurobindo says, involution, devolution, involution, evolution. Here they are. And this is manas and prana, yes, mind, vital, and physical. So from physical to, again, to the supermind. This is our evolution today. We are moving from 15 to 16. Yeah? We are moving from our mental creation towards supramental. This is the whole transition here. Sri Aurobindo came to take this. And this is the supramental manifestation awaiting for us in the future, which will manifest us as the immortal beings. And then this, from 19 to 22, as Sri Aurobindo says, this will be an everlasting or the evolution without end. Somebody asked him, and when we will reach the supermind here, what will be then? Will we evolve anywhere? He says, yes. We will evolve from light to greater light. So from this supramental creation here, we will come to 22, and 22 will unite heaven and earth finally. and they will be equal in one, and the evolution will constantly go on into greater and greater light. And look at these. There are 3 cycles and a half. What does it tell you? 3.5.
Yes, the Kundalini coil is also 3.5.
Right. Well, I was always thinking, why and a half? What's that half is doing there? But that half is the transcendental, yeah, constantly supporting these 3 circles of. Right. Okay, we can stop here and